Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel, to my podcast. I'm your host, Sophie Kim Cohen Myers, and we are live on Influenced by Kim. And today I want to talk to you guys about two separate things, maybe three, potentially. Who knows? Who knows where this is going to go, but I do have an overview of where this is going to go. One, I want to talk about my retreat. I launched my retreat that's going to happen this summer. I launched it like 2 days ago-ish. And then I also want to talk about this very profound, revolutionary, life-changing dinner that I had yesterday with multiple multi-millionaires, 7-figure, 8-figure, 9-figure, 10-figure, and also billionaires that I had yesterday that was really profound and life-changing for me. And also talk to you guys about some of the breakthroughs and generational traumas that I've been shedding off and how all of this just like all connects and coexists like in the same exact world. I think that what I have to say is really profound in so many different ways. But without further ado, let's dive into this. Okay, guys. So number one, let's just like throw this out there. I am officially hosting my very, very, very first retreat. This is a treat for me and my heart and soul. I've wanted to do this since 2020. Obviously, the world was closed. My first retreat I thought was going to be in Tulum. Tulum was always my favorite place in the world. I first visited Tulum before it was what it is today. I visited when no one knew what it was because I visited it as one of the first travel bloggers and travel influencers. And one of my favorite things to do was to like discover places that were untouched that people didn't know about. Because I didn't want to like just visit like, London and Paris, which are great and amazing, whatever, right? And Rome and like all the cheesy things. Like I obviously did that in the beginning part of my career, even before I became a travel blogger. I visited those like places. And then I just wanted to explore places because that's just like the type of character that I am. I like different. I like new. I like what's untouched. I like to be the first. I like the unfamiliarity. I like the uniqueness. I like the unknown, stepping outside of the comfort zone. I like to do what most people don't want to do or most people don't know about. So throughout my travel blogging career, I traveled to very special, sacred places that a lot of people didn't know. Not that didn't know existed. We obviously know all the countries and states in the world. I mean, like the actual countries in the world. But like now, the countries that I'm going to list now just seem like, oh my God, everyone's been there. Everyone goes there. It's not even that like special anymore. But when I did this, like 11 years ago, 10 years ago, when traveling wasn't as accessible, where the flights were not as affordable, where traveling wasn't as accessible to people, these places were very like untouched. So like Tulum is one of these examples where when I went to Tulum for the first time, like it was like being built. Like it was like a secret. It was the only people that were there were like tourists from Europe. It was very like free spirited, very like the energetic was very like sacred, wholesome, Mayans. Special secret ceremonies, like in like a very high vibrational state. It was very untouched. It was the jungles. It was like the abyss. It was really hippie, boho, hipster, but like no Americans even knew about it, right? And the way that I found out about it was like because I followed this like influencer named Tula Vintage, and she was from Australia, and Australians are like really big into travel. So she just did this amazing photo shoot there. She stayed at this like jungle, like if Tarzan had a palace, it would look like this hotel. And it just was like such goals. That hotel back then, it literally cost like nothing. God, I still remember it so deeply. I wanted to go for like 2 years in a row and I didn't go. But when I first found this hotel, when she first stayed in it, I feel like she made it like, she's like the original one that made it famous because she had like 2.1 million followers on Instagram. Before anybody like had reached 1 million followers on Instagram, she was like really big at the time. She's like kind of fashion and travel. And then she had this like crazy disease and her daughter, it was like a crazy story. I don't want to talk about that. But the hotel used to be a 3-star hotel. And I was like, how is this 3-star? This should be like 5+. Now it's a 5+ hotel. But at the time, like 3 or 4 nights there were like $220 for like 4 nights. And now like a night there starts at a few $1,000s a night. So fucking crazy how the world changes. But anyways, other places that I went to that were like untouched at the time was like Cuba. Like I went to Cuba, no one was like, what the fuck are you doing there? Or like when I went to Iceland, people are like, what the fuck? Like I went to Iceland in like 2015 or 16, or like India, you know, like, or Japan, and people are like, what is Kim Cohen doing? What in the actual fuck? I'm sure that there's more places like that you guys have been to 68 countries at this point, so I can't really remember like all the places and all the things, but like I can if I like looked down at a list and be like, oh yeah, there was also this. But point is I went to some places that I traveled to some places at the time that people were like so amazed and shocked by. And like, obviously I went to these places because I was really curious, but I also knew that going to these places was obviously going to cause me like lots of traffic to my blog, because these like people didn't know, you know, much about these locations, and they obviously interested me. God, there really are so many places and things that I've done that are wild. Anyways, Tulum was supposed to be one of these magical places that I thought for sure I was going to buy a house in. I visited there so many times, but then like I wanted it to, my first like retreat to be there in 2020. And then like I came back during COVID, it got destroyed, like fucking destroyed. Like just Tulum just became so popular and they just couldn't keep up. Like the Tulumers could not keep up with like the amount of tourists that was happening. It was no longer a secret. All the bloggers went there. Everybody wanted to go there. Everybody wanted these Instagrammable pictures. To me, it's just so aligned with my fucking soul. So I don't know. I've been there maybe 6 or 7 times. I have no idea at this point. But when I went back in, I was there right in the beginning of 2020 before COVID. I did Christmas there, even though I'm Jewish. I went there by myself. It was really special. It always changed and evolved, but then I didn't go for like 2 or 3 years. Like I think I went the first time in like 2022, and I was disgusted at like what it became. It was just became so trashy. 7-Elevens everywhere, like Starbucks, like fucking gross, dude, like disgusting. Pissed me the fuck off. So my retreat wasn't going to be there, and all these things ended up happening, but I am finally having a retreat. My retreat is going to be this fucking summer. And it's going to be on August 21st to August 26th. It's going to be 6 days and 5 nights. You guys, it's so fucking cool. The villas that I found were just fucking insane. We're going to be staying in multi-million-dollar villas. There's 2 villas. We're going to go on fucking multi-million-dollar yachts. My whole thing in life is if it's not over the top, I'm not interested. If I don't get to have like everything I fucking dream about and vision and anything that like, I believe that anything and everything is possible. That's like my principle. That's like core principle and the foundation of who I am. I believe that anything and everything is fucking possible no matter what. There's always a fucking way. There's always a fucking way. That's like my core belief for many, many, many years. And if it doesn't get to be over the top, if it doesn't get to be like exactly how I want, if it doesn't get to be like just this most ridiculous fucking fun as fuck event retreat, like then I don't want it. I don't want basic. I don't fucking do basic. I don't want basic. If it's not over the fucking top, I'm not interested. So I'm like, if I'm going to do this, this is going to be the most over the top fun as fuck thing. Not just fun. There are a few multiple like there are a few different, what do I want to call it, like aspects to this retreat. There's obviously hanging around me, which is really fucking cool. Like if you've ever wanted to meet me on social media, I feel like that's really cool. And I would just love to meet you guys as well. I do want to say space is limited. I'm only taking 12 girls. This is totally like ultra exclusive. I'm not taking everyone. There's an application form on the website. I'm going to leave the website on the show notes. But there is a luxury aspect to this because I don't like basic. I don't want basic. I don't want an average house. I want an over-the-top house. I love to live life like it's a fucking movie because I think I fucking deserve it. I think we all deserve it. I think life gets to be whatever the fuck we want it to be. I think that life here on earth is a fucking video game and a game, and I just look at everything like a game and like a movie, and you know, we're in Matrix, and like you just get to have it all. We're in 3D. It's a physical room. And you really get to play with it. It can be the worst experience to be here on earth, or it can be the most fucking over-the-top, amazingest experience of your life. And you can truly make all of your dreams come true. And like, I'm your girl. Like, here's like an example, right? Like, in my wedding, if you've seen my wedding, then you know this retreat's going to be insane because my wedding was insane. It was like a 4 day like extravaganza nonstop, and it only kept building up and getting better and better and better and better. I got married in Italy, if you do not know, over the summer in Verona. I created the most fucking epic, over the top, insane wedding that was featured in so many magazines and publications and the biggest blogs in the entire world. And like on accounts with multiple million followers. And a lot of these blogs that have seen like millions of weddings, like no joke, like called my wedding. What am I saying? I'm like losing my train of thought in words. That happens when I think too fast. But they called like my wedding like next level wedding, which I think is so fucking cool. Because I created it out of my imagination. I created it from like a place in the world of like, what is possible? What can I create? I don't care what's available. I want to create whatever my imagination desires, whatever I saw in movies and things. And I just wanted to bring to life and like, yeah, it's like I wanted to create my own movie and like step into it like the main character. And I did that. My wedding was so fucking over the top with fucking fireworks better than Disneyland, 2 wedding cakes, 3 couture gowns, so many events. It was just everything. But wait, hold on. Let me get back to the point. So back to the point, it's like if it doesn't get to be luxury and over the top and like my way and just the most like profound, amazing thing, like I'm just not interested. So this retreat is going to have like a big luxury aspect to it because that's just how I do life. I do life grand and big and over the top. And oh yeah, I remember what I was going to say. So in my wedding, this was the point. This is like how I see the world. Like I believe that I deserve to be like the queen of the world, like energetically. Like I really do feel deserving and worthy. But not only do I feel it for myself, I want everyone around me to constantly always feel that. So it's not just always about me like being center of attention or being like, you know, the main star. I want that for everyone that is in my fucking sphere. Not only do I want that, I project that. And like, if you go to my wedding website, which you don't know what it is, but on the dress code, it specifically said that my vision for my bridesmaids and my guests was like, I want you, and I said this in like the attire, I said, wear the most fucking over the top dress or outfit that you've always dreamed of wearing. And like, you know, like sometimes we look at like people on the red carpet or like, I don't know, like certain gowns or dresses and whatever, tuxes, whatever the fudge. And we're like, that is so fucking beautiful. I would love to wear that dress, but like, I have nowhere to wear that dress to. I'm like, wear that shit to my fucking wedding. Like, I'm the star of the wedding, sure, because I'm the bride, but like, I want you to feel like a fucking star walking on set of a movie. I want you to feel like you're a princess and like Bridgerton or like Cinderella. Like I wanted my guests to fucking feel that shit to the fucking core. Like I didn't just want it for myself. I wanted it for them. I wanted them to feel like the main fucking energy, the main star. And I wanted them to feel grand and amazing. And like, obviously we had like so many over the top experiences at my wedding that just kept getting crazier and crazier. And everyone was amazed. They're like, what is next? Is there more? Like, what else is she going to come up with? But I was very selective with who I chose to invite. Like, I could have invited a lot more. We had a wedding of 44 people. I could have invited more people. I was very selective with who I invited because I wanted a very specific collective energy at my wedding. I wanted people that I fucking love, that I felt like were so fucking deserving and worthy to feel like a fucking king and a queen at my fucking wedding. That's what I wanted. I wanted them to feel like whatever, princesses, kings and queens. And so even if you look at like my bridesmaids' dresses, I feel like most brides are fucking bitches. I'm sorry. Most brides are so fucked up. They're so insecure. Most brides, and like, I don't know, that's just like my opinion and my views, and everyone has their own views, but I'm just a blunt fucking bitch. So like, you know, let me be unfiltered, please. Most girls want to be like the star of their wedding, and they want themselves to look amazing, and then they pick like their best friends and their siblings or sisters to be their bridesmaids, and then they put them in these like very basic background dresses that have like no shape or form. If you know, you know. Just like go to like Pinterest and write bridesmaids dresses in the search box. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's ugly. I mean, yeah, maybe I'm saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's ugly. It's fine and it's pretty and it looks really good, like aesthetically in pictures. And if it's done right and there's like flowers and like the hairdos and like, of course it could be done right. But a lot of times I just see like this like lifeless satin, I don't know, like pale blue without life or like weird colors dresses for bridesmaids. And I'm like, that bride was so like concerned about being like self-center of attention that she gave like kind of zero fucks about how the rest of her bridesmaids, like she did not want them to outshine her. That is not the energy of my wedding. That was not the fuck. I wanted my bridesmaids to have ridiculous dresses. Ridiculous, like in the best way possible. Like I wanted them to feel like fucking princesses. I wanted them to have beautiful, expensive, designer, amazing, stunning dresses. I wanted them to feel so fucking beautiful. I'm like, it's true. Like, these are my best friends. These are my 3 best friends and my sisters. I love them more than fucking anything in the world. Like, I want them to feel so fucking, like, they deserve. First of all, they like, obviously, I planned the whole wedding, but they were like moral support during the wedding process. But also, you know, they've been my best friend. Like, they've had to, like, you know, there's so many crazy things out in my life. Like, you know, being like my best friend, like, I really honor that. I cherish that. I feel like you should be a fucking queen at my wedding. My baby sister was my bridesmaid, and she wore like a really ridiculous dress. I wanted like every single dress that my bridesmaid wore, essentially, like I would have wore every single one of them. I want all of their fucking dresses. I would wear them Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, every single day of the week. I love, like, if I wouldn't wear it, I would not want them to wear it. If I don't feel like center of attention in that dress that I put them in, like, I would never put them in that. Like, I wanted them to have queen energy. It was really, 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 really important to me. And that's just, like, who I am and how I play. I don't want to be just me center of attention. I want, like, everyone to feel like queen, princesses vibes. And, like, I'm so grateful and so happy because all of my bridesmaids felt so fucking gorgeous and pretty. And they, like, thanked me individually for, like, letting them wear that type of a dress, for letting them feel pretty. And I'm like, yeah, like, duh, like, of course, like, duh. It's like me. It's like so obvious to me. I don't understand people that try to dim other people's light. I want to like brighten up everyone's fucking life and light. And I'm not concerned. That's the fucking thing. When you have like inner confidence, when you know what the fuck you're worth, when you know who the fuck you are, when you just know you and you know what you bring to the table, I was never concerned that I would not be center of attention or one of my bridesmaids or one of my guests was going to outshine me. That was never a thought that ever fucking crossed my mind, ever. Because I know that that's like impossible. Like, because I know what I am and what I'm worth and I'm the bride. And like, no one's dress or no one's outfit could ever outshine the bride. Like, they just can't. So it's not even like, I was never concerned with that because I'm so fucking content with who I am and what I am and like my inner confidence that like, you know what I'm saying? I want everyone to fucking shine. I went off on this rant, but like this is exactly the energy and the vibe that I feel for this retreat. I want every single girl that goes to this retreat to feel like a fucking star. Like, that's the energetic. The name for this retreat is called Iconic. It's literally how to be a fucking icon. It's just being the icon. It's being that. It's called Iconic, becoming her. And it's all about becoming that girl that you always promised yourself that you were going to become. And things got in the way, things happened, life changed, things happened unsurprisingly. You let go of your hopes and dreams. People made you believe that you're not good enough for it. Like, there's so many different things, fear, doubt, the people around you, like different things might have happened, unexpected things, and you just kind of let her go. And I want you to bring her fucking back. Like, I want you to be her. Be that fucking girl in your fantasies and in your dreams, and I want to help you get there. I know how to do that. I've been iconic like my entire fucking life. Like, I know the key components and the key ingredients. And through this retreat, there's going to be 8 different workshops that I'm going to be hosting. That I'm going to be hosting and teaching. And we're going to be doing so many transformative things beyond the fact that we're going to be doing manifestation and masculine and feminine energy, and when to manifest from masculine, when to manifest from feminine, and different things about energetics. We're going to be doing a lot of shadow works and breaking through like self-sabotaging behavior and owning who the fuck we are and letting go of people pleasing and learning what it actually takes to have like inner confidence and outer confidence and how to be a fucking star of your fucking life. There's so many massive things that I have planned as far as the transformative workshops that I'm planning and I'm hosting. And so I want it to be 12 people because I want it to be a very specific type of people. I want the energy to be right. And so there's like a luxury aspect to this. There's a hangout with Kim Cohen aspect to this. And then obviously, like, most importantly is the transformation, which that's what we're here for. We're here for the fucking transformation. We're here to fucking be a fucking star. And that's going to get me to my next point about like yesterday and the dinner table and all the things. But quickly, I'm going to go back to the luxury. So we're going to have a fucking, like, we're all going to be staying, and there's going to be 2 multi-million-dollar villas. They're on the fucking water. They're on the ocean. Like, yachts can come pick us up. Like, there's going to be a fucking yacht. We're going to be doing really cool, unique experiences in Miami. So I know that some people have never been to Miami, or maybe they've been here, but they've done like Miami, like the bad way, the tourist way, the South Beach ghetto way. South Beach is not Miami. Like, that's like a tourist thing. It's like when people go to LA and they go to Hollywood Boulevard to see the stars and they think like that's LA, and it's like, that's not LA. There's so much more to LA. So I'm going to show you guys life here like a fucking local and why I fucking love the city. And the reason why I picked it to be here as well, one of the reasons why I picked it here is because it's literally one of my favorite cities in the fucking world. I moved to Miami. I lived in Miami 11 years ago, and I always knew I was going to come back. I've been all over the world. I've lived all over the world. There's something so special about the city that literally the sky's the fucking limit, and you can be and have anything you want in the city. I attribute Miami very similarly to Dubai. Obviously, Dubai is like the first, but I feel like Miami is like the second most like luxurious city in the fucking world. I really do believe that. And so I wanted that luxury aspect to be here. I have so many cute things like planned. So I want you guys to also experience Miami like a fucking local, but like a multi-millionaire local. That's like really important for me because I'm all about experience and transformation. Like, that's like the thing behind this retreat. And that's just like the thing about me in life. Like, that's what I invest like most of my money into, beyond the fact like my health and stuff. But like, it's experience and transformation. So, I mean, investing most of my money into like health and stuff and traveling, like, it's experience and transformation. I feel like that's the most valuablest things you can ever spend money on. They're priceless. They truly are. Beyond that, we're going to have so many I'm going to be bringing like in some of the most specialist, talented, gifted people that I know. And this retreat is going to be like spiritual, consciously awakening, activating. We're going to do like Kundalini activation. If you listen to my podcast episode about my Kundalini activation and the sisterhood energy, like, I want to bring that shit back. Like, I want to like anchor in that sisterhood energy on such a deep motherfucking level. We're going to do Kundalini activation. I'm going to bring like the best Kundalini coach, energetics person that I know. We're going to have cacao ceremony. There's going to be a new moon ceremony. Every day we're going to have yoga out overlooking the ocean. Oh my God. Sunset, sunrise yoga. I have so many cool fucking ideas, and I don't want to share all of it because I want to create like a surprise aspect, but we're going to have like theme nights so we can play like dress up and have like the best fucking girl time, but also like just transform, and like the person that you're going to walk in there as versus the person you're going to walk out of there as, it's just going to be like 2 fucking different worlds. And I'm so motherfucking excited. Like, I can't wait for it to be August. Like, is it August yet? Is it? Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm going to be teaching you guys so many things that have made me who the fuck I am today. And becoming her is not even about becoming me. It's literally about becoming her, like your version of her, like that version that you promised yourself that you were going to become. Okay, now I want to talk to you guys about the type of dinner that I had yesterday, the type of people that were at this table, and kind of like some generational trauma things that I've been conquering, shedding off, overcoming, changing generational trauma. I feel like some people don't know what generational trauma is, and I would love to just share it for those who don't know, because, you know, I've been through so much in my life, and a lot of times I didn't know like the words for things, and I wish I would have known like what that word actually that it even like that something actually has a word, and I can be like, oh, so like for example, I was manifesting things before I knew that the word manifestation actually existed. I was doing the law of attraction before I even knew there was a word for it. There's so many things in my life that I like experienced and did, and like before I even knew I had a word for it. And it would have been really lovely if I could have just like had that word in my vocabulary, like my country accent right now. No, I'm serious. But like, I'm just going to break down what generational trauma is. Generational trauma is ideally trauma that has been passed down generation from generation to generation, and it actually appears in our DNA. It's really that fucking deep. Like, it's not just a word, it's actually fucking science. It's actually in your DNA signature. Like, it's fucking crazy. And what I recently found out, actually, there's been a lot of new statistics or like studies that came out that a lot of when you're pregnant and you're making a baby, a big portion of generational trauma comes from the male sperm and DNA, like more than the females. Isn't that fucking crazy? So it's like, and I do want to say this, like, we as females, we're creating life. Damn, I have so much to fucking share. What I just start and I just cannot stop. Like, we are creating life, and so it's interesting that like we get to. It's such a deep conversation, but like it's crazy that the man sperm, like the DNA sperm of a man, puts a big majority of the generational trauma into the baby, but then us as the female, as the mother, as the other half, as a duality, as the balance, as the yin yang, as the partner, as the feminine divine energy, we're actually creating the baby, and the baby's growing inside of us. And so how we feel and what we heal also manifests into our future baby and our future child and our future bloodline. And it's so fucking profound, deep, and amazing. And so one of the biggest gifts you can give your future self, your future bloodline, and your future children and grandchildren is to literally heal generational trauma. When you heal generational trauma, it actually upgrades your DNA. It's really fucking crazy. And not only does it upgrade your DNA, and if you do like the work with like your husband or your spouse or like your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, when you do like the work with them and you help them or they help you, or you guys navigate through like your family generational trauma, like not only does it benefit you guys as a couple and makes you and turns you into a power couple, it also manifests into your children and future generations of your bloodline. And it is one of the most profoundest, amazing gifts you can give, like your bloodline. Like, I truly mean that. Like, it's so crazy. My energy went from like really high to like, hold on, like, can we be in alpha brain waves for a second and actually like hone in on what the fuck I'm saying? Generational trauma, let's talk about it. So generational trauma, so it's like a lot of people think that certain things are like, oh, it's just like my genetics, or it's just like in my DNA, or you know how people say that, like. And that can literally be in so many different categories. Like, you can be like, I'm fat because it's just in my DNA. It's like in my generational, what is it called? Like in my genes. It's hereditary. That there's also that word. And it's like, so some people believe that because their mom was fat and their grandparents were fat and their grandparents were fat, like it means that like they are fat because it's in like the genetics. And it's not true. It's actually not fucking true. It's not. You can break through your generational trauma and break that. And the example that I just gave, FYI, is true in my family. My mom has always been overweight. My grandparents were always overweight. What's interesting is it's in my DNA, because I did do the stupid DNA test, which I sometimes get mad at the fact that I did that DNA test. You know, there's like 23andMe. I didn't do 23andMe. I just love to know things about life and how to always become better. So if I did a different one, it was like an influencer campaign. But so I didn't do 23andMe. I did Helix, but I think that they're all the same and they're all owned by Deep State and they were all there. All the DNA tests were a hidden agenda for creating COVID. different story for a different day. But besides that, it's actually in my DNA it's easy for me to be fat. It says it in my DNA. It literally says that. I don't remember exactly like how it was said, but it was kind of say like that it's easy for me, my body type, to gain weight. Okay, but wait, hold on. I want to explain to you why it's not true. There are things that are in our genes and in our DNA, factual. Yes, that's true. But a lot of people, there's a very thin line in between that a lot of people get confused about, which is in your genes and in your DNA versus like habits that are repeated from generation to generation. That's not actually in your DNA. It's just unhealed trauma, right? So for example, if you grew up in a household where nothing was ever communicated and everyone just screamed at each other, and your mom and your dad think that's normal because that's how they were raised and that's how their parents were raised and that's how their parents were raised, that's not necessarily in your DNA or in your gene, right? That's just like in habits and personality traits, in ways of coping and ways of being, but that is not actually in your DNA, so to speak, right? And you can totally change that by breaking your generational trauma. Another example is a lot of times people think that being fat is in your DNA or in your gene. And there's a part of that is true, but there's another aspect of it where it has to do with habits, okay? It literally has to do with habits. So here's an example of that. My mom is like the biggest host. And when you go to her house, she'll make you like every single day. Time you go to her house, it's like a Thanksgiving dinner plus more. You go to Shabbat dinner at my mom's house. You go to just a dinner. You tell her you're bringing your boyfriend. It's a fucking Thanksgiving dinner on crack. My mom doesn't know how to do it any other way. She's a huge chef, a cook, a dessert maker. She makes cakes for a living. Everything's always over the top in that sense of cooking and eating and so many selections of food. And also she makes like really big portions of everything. She doesn't make like small portions. She makes like, I don't know how to even like conceptualize like the insanity of it. And to me growing up, I thought that that's normal because my grandma was the same way. But then like when people come to her house, they're like, oh my God, your mom's crazy. How did she make all this food? Like, and over a series of years, it's like people kept saying that to me that I'm like, oh yeah, like I guess that is crazy. But it was just always what was normal to me. So like if we're having dinner with 4 people and there's rice, okay, for example, there won't be just one set of rice. There'll be like 3 or 4 different types of rice, and each portion of rice dish is made for like 10 people, 10 to 15 people. It's insane. I don't even know where she gets like the plates, the pans, the plates, the space in the kitchen and the fridge. Like, oh my God, I'm like literally rubbing my eyes, like just thinking about like the stress level. I do love cooking, and every single time though that I make Shabbat dinner, which I try to do every single Friday, I work my fucking ass off to make dinner just for me and Ben, just for the 2 of us. And I do make like a good amount of portion of things, like different selections of things. But I'm like, this shit is like taking me 4 hours or 5 hours or sometimes 6. And I'm like making dinner for 2 people. And I'm like a fast bitch. And like, it's like, how the fuck does my mom do this shit? Like she does this like on steroids times like 20. I'm not even kidding. Like it's insane. But anyways, the point is like my mom overcooking and just being like the best host and all the things. I could say that's in her DNA, but it's not. It's just like it's passion, it's habit, it's what was normalized because my grandma was like that. But her mom, my grandma's mom, my great grandma was also like that. And it's always been interesting. Like my grandma always made so much food, so much, you know, she would just slave away at the kitchen making so much food. And my mom is the same way, kind of like an Italian grandma that you would think of. Like that's how my mom and my grandma are. But what was interesting is when I went to Argentina, and I am half Argentinian for those of you who don't know, and I met my great grandparents from my mom's side because my grandpa's side on my mom's side is no longer, they haven't been alive in many years. But I went to Argentina when I was 16, and I went to my great grandma's house, and she also made like everything from scratch. Everything was beautiful. She made so much food, but like she like even made the wine. Like I was like, what? Like what? Like this shit really goes back in my bloodline. And one of the things is like so then like here's the thing. So then when I left my parents' house at the age of 18 and I moved out, I used to naturally make big portions of things, but I lived by myself and it was only for me. And I would like, if I made rice, I would make like 2 cups of rice, but I don't like leftovers and I don't eat food from the fridge. I'm still really spoiled in that way. Like I don't like leftovers. So it's like I would make 2 cups of rice, which is like obviously an insane portion for one human being. And I don't even eat a lot. I've never been like a big eater. I always like undereat. I always had like in the past. I just don't like, I don't know. If I didn't need to eat as a human being, I probably wouldn't because I always forget to eat. I just don't feel like it's like a thing for me. But so I'm not saying I didn't eat from like an eating disorder perspective. It's just like I've been like that since I was a kid. But anyways, the point is like I used to make like 2 cups of rice and then have it sit in my fridge for like 4 days, and I'd throw the entire thing away. And I wouldn't know why I was making so much. And I did this shit for years. And then I hated cooking because I would just make insane portions of things and think, and then like not eat it and then be like, why the fuck did I work so hard? And then it took me years, you guys, years to realize like, what the fuck am I actually doing? I am not my mom. I do not have like, 4 children. I do not have 6 people in my household. I do not have like my friends coming over every other fucking day and hosting like fancy dinners. Like, why am I making so much and then throwing away so much? Like, it makes absolutely zero fucking sense. And then I was like, yeah, no one told me because that's what was normalized in my household and in my bloodline. And I literally broke that generational trauma, even though it's like not a trauma, but the trauma, here's the kicker, right, is that my mom's always been overweight and my grandma's always been overweight and my grandpa's always been overweight, and weight is an issue for my mom's side. So it is a problem because in my DNA, it shows that it's like I'm capable of being fat was what was shown in my DNA when I did the DNA test. And my sisters always struggle with their weights. And my dad has like my dad used to be so fucking skinny, but he has like a beer belly. He doesn't even drink beer, but he looks like he's pregnant. He's always eating sugar and sweets and all the thing. And I am the first person in my fucking family to eat healthy, to not overeat. Also like generational trauma related to food is like finish up your plate, eat more. Why aren't you eating? Like shit like that. And then like I used to have this guilt feeling that if I didn't finish my plate, then I'm doing something that's wrong. Like I felt like I used to feel like for years, like I had to finish everything off my fucking plate because if I didn't, there are children in Africa that are starving. I shit you not, like that. I know that's like cliche or whatever the heck, but like that was like installed in my childhood. And like my mom was treated the same way and says like you had to finish everything off your plate. That's so not fucking healthy. That's how you get fat. And I've had times in my life, again, where I wasn't fat, but like in my reality as a girl who used to be a model, as a girl who used to be a stick, like there were times where I was like overweight for me, right? Like I was like a medium. I'm trying to think of like sizes. I think like now I'm like a size 6. I love being a size 6. I think it fits best for my body type, for my big boobs, for my butt, for my waist, for like my height, 5'7". Like for my type, I like me at 6. If I become a 4, I look like I'm unhealthy and I look fucking weird. But when I thought that I was fat, it's when I went to like a size 8 and I was starting to be a little bit tight. Like I was like, no. But see, I don't let myself go to 10. I'm like, no, 8, we're done. If it's starting to lean towards 10, like we're done. We're going down. Right. So, but some people don't have boundaries, but it's like, I had to teach myself, and I talk about this and I teach some of this inside of my masterclass, Effortlessly Healthy and Fit, that I had to make so many changes that in my world, in my reality, in the way that I was raised, like was like normal to me, like the food stuff, like eating everything off. And then I like was like, why the fuck am like if I don't eat all the food off of my table, that's not going to help the children in Africa. Like, I actually never realized that. Like, it's actually crazy. And I have so much compassion for the children of Africa and the starvation that goes on in the world that I always used to feel guilty about it. But like, that guilt makes people fat. Not breaking that paradigm, that limiting belief, that programming, that subconscious programming that's been programmed inside of you since you were a kid by your parents, by your mom, by your grandma, by your entire bloodline. Like, I'm the only one in my bloodline that has like healed so much generational trauma. But like, when it comes to food and health, like, I am the first one to have health awareness around what I eat, how much I eat, what I consume, like not fucking putting sugar and shit, like not eating desserts, like not, I'm very, very different. I'm the first one. My brother takes after me. I'm the first one. And when I made the shift, my family thought I was fucking crazy. But I was the healthiest. I looked fucking hot. I had abs. And they were talking shit. Generational trauma, right? Bad sheep. But like, no, I'm actually the fucking healthy one. My brother in most recent years started working out, and like that, now it's like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool now because Dolov did it. I love my brother, but it's like my brother's like the A student child. So it's like if he doesn't, he's mommy's favorite, and he's the only boy. If he doesn't, then it's like, okay, we can start potentially normalizing this, even though no one has changed anything. But like, I am the first to break that generational trauma of like not having to eat everything off your fucking plate, not having to make crazy portions. That's not in your fucking DNA, man. That's generational trauma. And when the trauma comes in, when it's actually harming you and hurting you, does that kind of make sense? It's just, that's like one part of like, we can say like, things that are in our DNA. That's like physical appearance and stuff like that. But I'm talking more, when I say generational trauma, it's really about like your mindset. Like, if you grew up in a household that's toxic, or you had like a narcissistic parent type, or nobody ever communicated, or love wasn't showed in the family hold, or nobody, like, the way that people bought each other's love was like through gifts, but never through like deep conversations and words of the wise and love and telling. Like, if you grew up in a household where like your parents never told you that they loved you, they just got you gifts, or if you were told like your voice doesn't matter, right? There are these things that our parents have done to us, and we get mad at them and we're fucked up because of it and all the things. But the truth of the matter is that they were taught that from their parents, and that's how they were treated as children, in whatever capacity that is. And that's because their parents were treated like that. And so it just, the whole thing just goes on and on and on. Wealth, like money, it's also the same thing. Like, a lot of times, like, being poor is like a generational trauma thing, like, because it comes down to like certain belief systems, right? It comes down to specific beliefs systems that were put in place that no one ever questioned, and everyone just thought like, okay, this is truth for life, and like whoever questions their parents, like whatever our parents like raised us on is always what's been normalized in our sphere, and we think that that's just like normal, and that's just the way everyone thinks and everyone does things. And the only time generational trauma gets to like actually, when you get to like actually set yourself free, is when you break through generational trauma, is when you actually sit down with yourself and you ask the uncomfortable question that no one's been asking for many fucking generations, and you actually figure out how the fuck to overcome this one thing that's actually fucking up your life, right? It could be like being poor. It can be like being fat. It can be physical things, but like most of the time when people say generational trauma, wealth is like a big thing that people talk about, like when generational trauma, but also body type, but also mindset, unhealed trauma. And there's so much I can like say on that, and I feel like I should create a different episode on that in and of itself. And I say that about a lot of things, and you're gonna get them at different times. But in my family's bloodline, in my family dynamic, right, when it comes to my parents and my siblings, the 6 of us, I have broken through endless generational trauma. I have become a completely different version of myself than the one that I was born into, the one that like existed. I used to be very self-sabotagey. I used to be so many things that were just not great. And I don't feel like they weren't great. I feel like they were an invitation to become better. Because Yeah, like that's what made me who I am today. If I wasn't like those things, right? If I didn't have like, certain programmings that kind of like were not the best, then I wouldn't have become like who I am today, which I really do think is like the best version of myself thus far. I'm always evolving and changing, and I'm always growing and like working on myself. But here's the kicker. So one of the things, and one of the harsh and hard realities of being in my family is that I always felt like I'm the black sheep, and the black sheep is always looked at as like something bad. But in reality, you're actually like the star seed. You're actually the indigo child. You're actually like the high vibrational being. But it doesn't come off as that. Why? Because society and the people that are around you, they have generational trauma, and they have so much unhealed trauma, and they don't know how to fucking communicate, and they don't know how to like just do things from a high vibrational place, and they just don't know because they've never had the courage to ask themselves the harsh questions of like, why the fuck do I keep feeling like this? Like they've never done the work to actually figure out that like life gets to be beautiful on the other side. There gets to be healing. Life gets to be different. Like there's fucking transformative, life-changing shit that's waiting for you on the other fucking side if you only lean in and chose it and asked the right questions and were curious enough and actually did something about the shit that makes you fucking sad and depressed and feel lonely and avoidant and disconnected and like a failure. Like there is something waiting for you on the other side, and it's so fucking beautiful. Now, here's the thing. I've always been that character in my family. I've always had to go first. And sometimes it's like in the bigger scheme of things, when I zoom out on the Google Earth map of like my life, I zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Like it is the most beautifulest thing ever to have to go first, because you're a fucking leader and God chose you to be a leader and all the things. But a lot of times it's also hard. And the part of it that's really difficult and hard about being the healed one in your family and having the rest of the family members have unhealed trauma is that how fucking amazing it gets to be on the other side when you get to heal this, and how freeing. It's amazing, but it's fucking freeing and so empowering to be on the other side of your trauma, of your self-sabotage, it gets to be so fucking freeing on the other side. And you only know it once you're set free. And it's like very interesting, like how all of that gets navigated, because there's a point in your life where you're living in like a low vibrational state where you're self-sabotaging, you're pushing people out of your life, you're always being avoided, you have shit communication, all you do is scream and run away from your problems, like whatever it is, right? And then you decide that you're going to work on it, and you work on it. And it like sometimes in the beginning it's hard, sometimes it's effortless depending on the path that you choose. And then like over a period amount of time, you just become it, and you become it, and you're not even aware that once upon a time, like you forget that once upon a time, you like your life, you didn't know how to fucking communicate. You always walked away from your problems. You always ran away. You always yelled. You always screamed. You always self-sabotaged. You always ruined everything that was good for you, right? And you forget that used to be you, because you live in such a different type of fucking reality. And the only time you're reminded of it is when you see like other people all of a sudden display that type of behavior. Then you're like, why the fuck is this person doing this? And you're like, holy shit, wait, hold on. I used to do that. Whoa. Like, I just realized, I just had a breakthrough and epiphany that I used to be like that, and I'm no longer that. And I didn't even realize when the actual full-blown shift happened, but I'm like so detached from that old version of myself that I used to be. And that's when you actually realize that you've healed a generational trauma, because your bloodline is not going to grow up in that way. But obviously within that, there's like infinite amount of categories. There's so many different categories, and I am a master at healing generational trauma. I have healed so much generational trauma, and it's so difficult to see the people that you love the most not want to do that or care for that or desire more from themselves. It's like one of the hardest fucking pills to swallow of my life. And like it's so difficult to see the people that you love the most like just fucking suffer when you know the answer and you know what it's like on the other side, and you know how freeing it gets to fucking be. Like it fucking kills. But the beautiful side is that like my children get to have a different life. Like my future children get to have a different life. Like me and my husband work really hard on breaking our generational trauma. Like I work on mine, he works on his. We're always like realizing that there is like more to work on. And we're always becoming better and better. And so like one of my generational traumas and things that I've been healing from and like overcoming and like conceptualizing and realizing in the last few weeks and months, I think it's been like a month and a half, I've really became a fucking completely different person like the last like I think 5 weeks or 6 weeks. Like my life has been, I'm like a completely motherfucking different person. Like I fucking quantum leaped. It's crazy. I like collapsed times. Like the work that I've done on myself in the last like 5 weeks, when it comes to generational trauma, when it comes to my fitness, when it comes to so many different things, my money mindset, like it's actually crazy because I feel like I'm collapsing time because the old version of me, this probably would have taken her like a year or at least like 7 or 8 months to like fucking do. And I just love how like the older I become, I learn how to collapse time and space even faster. And I get the types of results that I want even faster because of all the work that I put in. I get results faster. And so one of the things that's been really eye-opening to me in most recent time is realizing that I am not responsible for my family's traumas and their failure and their incapability to desire more. I've felt like for many, many, many years that I am responsible for that, even though I'm not. It's like I signed like a fucking agreement with myself that I'm responsible to protect them and to save them at any given moment in time, no matter what, no matter how they treat me, no matter what happens, because they're my family and family comes first. I'm very, very family oriented. I am the firstborn. And a lot of times I feel like my parents are children and I feel and know that I'm an old soul and that they're not, and I have to parent my parent, unfortunately. And I really like got deep on like where that even comes from. And a lot of it, like I felt for many years, like literally until like a month and a half ago, that I'm responsible to save everyone. And it's because a lot of responsibility was always dawned on me or given to me or expected of me as the older child. And what I've been realizing, and it's been actually really freeing to realize that I am not responsible for their lives the way that I have been, because every single time I've always played that role. Like, I don't just play that role with my siblings. I also play it with my parents, where I'm always protecting them. I'm always saving them. I'm always helping them. I'm always rescuing them. And I always get fucking shitted on, you guys. I always get fucking shitted on. It's so fucked up. My husband gets very upset seeing me go through this with them. But I really, in the last month and a half, like, I've set myself free. And it's been the most freeingest fucking shit of my life, where I really come to realize that it is not my job. My job is to be responsible for me. My job is to be responsible for my dog, for my family, for my future family, and like that's it. And like that seems so simple, but like I guess it just kind of depends on the type of role that you've played in your family dynamic for most of your life. And one of like the best metaphors that I can like come up with is, I think I recorded this in a different podcast episode. I probably have not released it yet. But the way that I felt for so many years is like, I'm like a really go-getter and really ambitious and really goal-oriented. And I really, when you go back to manifestation and you go to ask, believe, receive, right? There's like the 3 steps to manifestation: ask, believe, and you shall receive. If I can pinpoint my strongest one out of all 3 of them, because I feel like we all have our strongest and we all have our weakest. My strongest one is belief. I used to have a rock stone. I think I have it here. I do. Oh my God, it's in my office. You guys don't even know. I've been carrying this rock stone for like 11 years or something, or 12. No, like 12. It was gifted to me. One of my old business partners, I don't even know like what the heck he had. I think it was like on my birthday. One of my business partners, it was mine and my friend who worked for us, birthday, and he was holding 2 stones in his hand, like in a fist. We didn't see, and each one of them said a word. And he told us like pick one, and I picked the one that said believe, and the other word did not resonate with me. And I was like, intuition told me to pick believe, and it just felt like so fucking true to my heart. And I even think that I used to wear a necklace for a very long time that said believe, and I still have that rock. It's literally in my office, which is fucking gnarly to say the least, because I've lived in so many places and I've traveled so many times, and my shit's been in storages and so many times, and I lived out of suitcases and I did so much shit. And it's just crazy to know that I still have that fucking rock. But, and I saved it because that's just so fucking aligned with who I am. Like, if we talk about manifestation and you think about like ask, believe, and receive, like my strongest one consistently, like I think that's like most importantly, I think consistently my most powerful superpower within asking for your desires, believing in your desires, and receiving them is belief. I'm really fucking like to the core. Like when I believe something, like you cannot fucking change my mind about it. Like if I see a dream, if I believe that it's possible, like nothing's gonna fucking get in the fucking way. It's really powerful and profound, and I just see it like it's so fucking real to me, and I believe it. It's so fucking deep in my heart. And so back to like being like super ambitious and being like this crazy manifester because of my core beliefs that I feel like I'm deserving of it, I'm worthy of it. I want it, I get to have it, I get to touch it, and I just so fucking believe that to the motherfucking core of my soul. Because of that, and I really do believe, I believe the stars are the fucking limit. I believe that nothing's impossible. I believe that you can have anything and everything your fucking heart is set on. Like, I fucking believe that shit to the motherfucking core. I believe nothing is impossible to the motherfucking core. And one of my hardest struggles is, it's not, it's with my family, but I've also done this with friends. I've also done this with colleagues. I've also done this like so many times throughout my life where I have this like X factor, super natural star seed, indigo, go-getter, ambitious, believer, generator, manifestor, Leo, fucking fire up my ass, like all of those put together in one. And the way that I see it is like in my family, I'm going to use my family for a second, but this really applies to like so many of my friends throughout my life, so many colleagues, so many just different scenarios in my life where I feel like me and my family are at the bottom of a hill in the snow in Mount Everest, and we're climbing Mount Everest. We're about to climb Mount Everest. We have all of our harnesses on. We have like our gear. We have our fucking shoes, everything. I've actually rock climbed or ice climbed. Not rock climb I've done, obviously, but ice climbed a glacier in Iceland. So I actually can feel what the fuck I'm talking about too. And so, everyone has their harnesses on. They have their fucking helmets. You have like the fucking rope. And it's like, I'm down there with my fucking family. And let's say that there's 10 levels to this fucking mountain. And whoever the fuck the instructor is, he's like, okay, ready, everyone? Like he tells us, everyone knows the same information. Everyone does the same, knows the same exact shit. And then he says, go. And I just fucking race. I'm also really competitive, but I'm a competitive. I'm really big about winning. I'm really big about making things happen like fast and now and just all the things. And I have a fucking fire up my ass like 24/7. So let's say like the instructor says go, and I start climbing. There's 10 levels, right? And I start climbing, and I'm just so excited, and I can just see my fucking goal, and I see the top. I see the top, and it's getting closer and closer and closer and closer. All of a sudden, I get to level 9 right before I get to the top, and I'm like, hey, oh my god, everyone, look! And I just to tell them like, oh my god, I made it, and I turn around. And I realized that I realized no one's at level 9. I turn around and I realize everyone is stuck at level 2. My entire family is stuck at level 2. And I'm like, I'm like, oh my god, like I did it. And then like I turn around to look for them, to tell them, I'm like, they're not, what the fuck? And I look down the mountain, they're so fucking far down. And then I've had for many years this guilt where I'm like, oh fuck, I can't get to 10 unless I bring everybody up with me, because that's selfish, because that's not okay. And this has been like a huge story of my life where I'm like, oh fuck, like I get really excited, like I won, and then it's like, oh no, I have to go save everyone. And then I feel like, okay, hey, I have to go save them. So I go from level 9 and I go down the mountain and I get to like level 5. And I'm like putting my hand out to them like, hey, you guys, like reach me. Like I'm right here. Like you're level 2. Just like try like a little harder. Like push yourself. Like I'm right here. And I'm handing them my hand. And they're trying to like reach me, but they're not. And I'm like going all in and trying to fucking like from a scale of 1 to 10, like doing everything I can to like at a 10, an extreme level, like trying to like have them grab my hand. But they're like, I don't like trying, but they're trying as like a number 2 and they're at level 2, and I'm like, fuck, okay, let me get to level 4 and grab them and put them like on my back and tie their fucking ropes into mine and then like drag them with me back up to level fucking 9, which now feels so fucking heavy and so fucking hard because I have to carry up there like 5 fucking people. Then I have to go to level 4 to try to grab them. And, you know, I was just there. I was just there. I was just so close to fucking winning. And I went down the mountain to go save them. But then when I got to level like 3 and they're a level 2, I realized that they don't want to be saved. They just want to talk shit about me getting up there faster than they did. Does that make sense? That's deep. It really is deep. Because when I was at level 5 trying to save them, I thought like, oh, they actually want this because they sort of kind of reached a hand. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go down and grab them. And only when I got to level 3 to go help them, they're like, you think that you're better than everyone else because you got to level 9 and you didn't even fucking care about us, and they just try to like reverse psychology it and flip a fucking switch on me and make me feel guilty and bad because of my success, because of my drive, because of my ambition, because of my desires, because of my self-belief. And it's been like the story of my life. And so I always felt really responsible for their shit. And it's only dawned on me in most recent time that like, that's not mine to carry anymore. It always backfires. It always does. And it's just not my responsibility to carry. And I've been doing a lot of work on that. And it's been the most fucking freeingest thing of my life. I feel like I've been carrying a backpack with like 100 fucking pounds literally on my back. And I'm on that fucking mountain at level 9 and I just like let it fucking go. And it fell down my 9. I'm like, whoa, I can get to 10 now. I made my mission. That's how I feel now. I feel so fucking freeing. And that alone is breaking generational trauma. And there's something that's like, there's obviously like an empowering side to all of this, but there's also like a part that's like, makes you kind of sad. You know, there's a part that like breaks your heart and makes you sad because you're like, I love them so much. I wish that they knew how beautiful it gets to be on the other side, but they don't want it. And I want it for them so bad, but they don't fucking want it. And they're never going to get it because they don't want it. And I can't want it for them more than they want it for themselves. And I have to set them free and I have to set myself free into ever expecting more from them. Because they want to be basic and average. And that's a hard pill for me to swallow. Because I think that everyone's extraordinary and everyone's amazing and everyone should be amazing and extraordinary in their best self. And it's really hard for me to like conceptualize the fact that like the people that I love the most, like they just don't want that for themselves. Like they do and they don't. They want to complain about it, but do they want to do the work that is required to have that? Like, no, not at all. They want to like point the finger, play victim, not take responsibility, be in the avoidant energy, and it's just not serving to me or anyone around them. So I've been really working on that, and it has been very freeing to me because for many years I feel like I am always ahead of them, and it's not in a cocky way. It's just like just evidence. It's in my healed trauma. It's in my breaking generational trauma. It's in who the fuck I am. It's in my success. It's within my accomplishments. It's within all of it. And there's so much more that I desired for myself. But I always felt like I had to dim my own light to make them feel comfortable. I had to dim my own light or be less than who I'm supposed to be at certain timelines in my life to make them feel better or to feel like a part of them, because a lot of times they see me as a threat because of my capability and ability to dream and manifest. And it's really wild. It's really wild. And the truth is it's not even, I mean, my family is my family and like, you know, that's that. But I've done this with friends. I've done this with colleagues where I'm like climbing that fucking Mount Everest in the snow, like beating all the fucking levels, getting at level 9, turning around, being like, hey, wait, you're down at the bottom of the mountain. I have to save you. And this has looked so different in so many different times in my life. Like when I used to do sales and I lived in Baltimore and I was the best salesperson that the company had ever seen, and I was making like paychecks 3 times more than everyone else and I was killing it. I would make friends and we would have fun and I would make so much money. Like we would work at the same exact location and you work on commission only. And all of a sudden, within like an hour and a half, I already made $1,000 and they have made 0 and now they're crying because I'm made them, which I did not, I made them feel like powerless and like a failure and all the fucking things because they're seeing like what's possible, but they don't know how to attain it. And so I'm like, fuck, I have to save them because they're my friend. And so what I would do is then like the next sale, I would like give them my sale and literally give them my money so that they're not sad. Because I feel like I used to believe that it's like selfish to have things and not bring everyone behind, even though I helped them and I trained them and I taught them everything I knew, but they didn't do the work. They didn't fucking do the work. And I'm giving them like free money. And it always backfires. So it's like I've been feeling really freeing in the last like month and a half, like releasing all of that guilt and like heavy energy that I feel like I just always feel like I'm responsible for so many people, and it's like, it's not my fucking responsibility. And that gets to be so fucking freeing. And within that, on the flip side, it gets to be so much power. And I want to say this, like, if you're hearing like any of this generational trauma stuff that I'm sharing and you feel like it resonates with you, it feels like, wow, like, yeah, like I've been feeling like that too, or oh my God, she's like, yeah, like I can totally fucking relate. In whatever capacity that is, right? It doesn't have to look exactly like mine. But if you feel that, if you feel like you've been carrying everyone's responsibility like on the weight of your shoulder, okay? If you feel like you don't feel safe being fully expressed, like at some point, you know, in society, in your family, in your relationships, or in past experiences that have made you second guess yourself, or if you've ever felt like undeserving of success, love, abundance, or you don't feel like the main character energy in your life, like you do, but you don't. It's or you do or you don't. But if you feel like you do or you don't, leg in, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, that means you don't. That's what it means. I'm sorry. It means that you don't. It's or you're it or you are not. Or you don't feel like deeply connected to your power, or you don't feel unstoppable, I can't wait for you to listen to part 2 of this podcast episode, because I feel like it's really going to hit home and it's really going to feel different. And everything that I just described really has so much to do with what my retreat is going to be about. And I would love to talk more in on this. I feel like this podcast episode is already kind of long. I'm going to create a part 2 and talk to you guys about the dinner that I attended yesterday and how powerful that was and how it's just so different than like the role that I play in my family dynamic or with past friends or past colleagues. So I'm just going to end this podcast episode on this note. I can really rant on this. I don't want this to be an 1.5-hour podcast episode, although I wouldn't mind doing that either. I'm going to close it, but I do want to remind you right now that the doors are open for my retreat, Iconic, Becoming Her, where you get to actually stand in a place of fucking power and become her. There's so many levels to becoming her. There's so many motherfucking levels to becoming her. The it girl, the main character energy, the fucking star of your fucking life, that version of you that gets to feel so free and not responsible for anyone's shit, gets to be unapologetically yourself, gets to have inner confidence, know who the fuck she is, know what the fuck she's worth, all the fucking things. I am always here to remind you who the fuck you are and what you are worth. And if you want to feel that on such a massive, deep, transformative level, join my retreat. Space is limited. There are only 12 spaces available. So I'll see you guys in the next episode, and stay tuned for part 2, because part 2 is going to be really a turning point. Like, yesterday fucking changed my life, and I want to talk deeper in on that. So stay tuned for the next episode. I love you guys. Bye.